Yes, it is 8 p.m. on Wednesday, the 28th of April. I am the Raggedyman. I do all my own stunts, and this is the Big Stomp Live. If you're joining us live right now on Twitch and don't want to miss any exciting shows from Bunkazilla, give us a follow. It's completely free to do. You'll find out when we go live next. If you're watching the show replay on our YouTube channel and don't want to miss out on future episodes, give our show a like. Give our YouTube channel a subscribe, go to Twitch, subscribe there. It's social media. You know how it works. As said, I am the Raggedyman. This is April, and today we have two wonderful members of the Geek Illuminati to join us and discuss. Coming first from an extensive tour of wherever Dragon Age is set, I can't remember. I haven't seen her for ages. It is the Redheaded Rambler.
Hello! It's Thaddeus. It's where I've been touring. I've been doing the world tour.
Fantastic.
Yes. How is everybody? How is chat? Hope everyone's well.
If you are in chat, hit us up, say hello. We will obviously be throwing all your comments into the mix. Adding a bit of spice, adding a little salt, adding a bit of garlic. I'm finding garlic very helpful these days. And also,
garlic is delicious.
With another return visit, it is Misha. Hello, Misha. Come in, Misha. How are you? How is the Chair of Destiny?
Both myself and the chair are doing very well, thank you.
Fantastic. Well, it is
Apologies
the Big
in advance
Stomp.
for the poor quality of my internet connection.
That's quite all right. I apologise in advance for the poor quality of my commentary.
You start apologising for that, have you, Andrew?
Oh, only when there's a cheap joke. Anyway, we are the Big Stomp, so to start things off, we're going to have a quick message from a deranged magman.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Misha.
Yes. Yeah. It turns out that Tim Curry was entirely wrong. Space is here, and we're doing drone flights on Mars. You know, can we just take a moment and bask in the nerd glory of drones on Mars, people. You know, they sent a drone, they sent a rover to Mars, and they had another little drone in their drone because we heard you like drones, so we put a drone in your drone so you can surveil Mars while you surveil Mars. Yep. And they launch it. It launches remotely. They managed to make it fly in Mars's atmosphere. I think it has to reach something ridiculous like 50,000 RPM or some absurd number in order to just to get up. But yeah, and the latest flight of Ingenuity, they've actually managed to take a selfie, well, sort of a selfie. It's photographed the rover it launched from,
which is very cool.
Yeah.
The only problem I have with the current mission is they've started making oxygen, and we all know oxygen reactors and environmental reactors attract xenomorphs. So I think at some point we're going to have to take off and nuke Mars from orbit because there's going to be HR going xenomorphs running around and trying to impregnate everyone.
I mean, I'm sure we're just going to have to deal with the actual Martians when they come out from their mole people holes.
I know nothing about mole people. Yeah.
I'd say I went on the internet to look a bit more of this up, and wow, the conspiracy theorists are going nuts, aren't they?
I mean, the one I saw was that somebody who had and found a single YouTube video that I didn't even dare click on because of what it would do to the algorithm. Apparently, it's impossible for them to have done what they've done. You know, you can't. It's not quite at the level of Mars doesn't exist, or that can only be a few iterations of internet lunacy away.
I mean,
When you've got,
my favorite one was it was all elaborate green screen, and you could see the wires and the person in the morph suit controlling it, and I was just like, please explain your train of thought, and then they blocked me, so it was like, okay.
let us not go down that path. Let us away from that path of conspiracy to other paths of conspiracy. Misha, the floor is still yours for this introduction that we successfully hijacked.
As you do. Yeah. I'm so on the other flip side. I believe.
Anyway, away from any of that conspiracy.
Yeah, that'd be that. I think that was the line for the space elevator. Yeah.
Your point.
But yeah. So, well, space elevators may not be quite on the menu yet, but yeah, there's NASA, of course, have recently signed a $2.9 billion deal with SpaceX to use their technology to send stuff into space and hopefully bring it back down again. Obviously SpaceX have been doing some lovely stuff with their with their machines. Live streaming. There were the only time I've seen like 4 or 5 of my different subgroups of friends all simultaneously geeking out over the same thing was when they live streamed the Dragon launch. It's like, you're talking about that, and you're talking about that, and you're talking about that. This is actually getting major cross-cultural penetration,
which is pretty useful, because there had been a distinct drop in interest in space flight. I mean, it was still cool and shiny and all that, but there wasn't anything big and vibrant going on. And so getting it back on people's mind in the mind share is pretty useful.
Especially if there's another round thing coming up.
Yeah. Funding
and
is very useful.
The ingenuity thing is just kicked it all off again, and so which is good, because yay space.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as with any noble and forthright scientific endeavor, inevitably there's a tech bro turns up to crash the party and throw a pool of conflict emeralds and self-righteous egomania over it. 3 guesses who I'm talking about, and please,
Elon Musk.
If we want to get, if anybody wants to get the numbers up for this, just post on Twitter that we're dunking on Musk and watch as the fanboys Zerg rush.
If people want to get us some viewers in, we ask our winged monkeys to let the world know we're dunking on Elon Musk.
Chat, fly, my pretties, fly.
So you're not a fan of Mr. Musk getting involved?
No.
Okay.
I'd rather take the view that maybe it's just that I've grown up reading science fiction, but he is literally the man that SF authors have been warning us about for 70, 80, 100 years. It's a crazy ass billionaire who thinks he's God's gift but has absolutely no morals whatsoever. Getting his all over.
Okay.
All over. When we were talking about what we might find on Mars, my first thought was, where's Cohagen? Money up there to activate to start the reactors, but that is the Elon Musk way. We literally had the Expanse, which is what happens when you let the Musks and the Bezos of the world handle.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask. I'm. What?
Apparently, somebody's
Hi,
watching Misha in the
Misha.
bath.
I'm watching you in the bath. Okay.
Is that
No,
what's,
no,
is that
it's
what's,
a chair,
did
not
you-
a bath. It's a chair.
I was going to say, is
Chair,
that what's
I'm-
below the waist?
Yeah, I believe. Tie me to wire.
I
Right.
know,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, while there are a number of things and reasons that Elon Musk has collected a lot of negative press, I am in this case going to have to ask you to give 3 reasons why you think Musk, in this case, is the I believe you said the supervillain or that sci-fi warned us about, because there are some good things about Mr. Musk's involvement, and I say that as someone who is sick to death of his fanboys. So if you could lay out your case, your 3 big reasons.
I will concede that SpaceX itself has done some sterling work.
Yeah.
However, you do find yourself in the eternal dilemma of, as one, how do you separate the art from the artist? When you've got it, there's a kind of thing here of the question of how much of Elon's douchebaggery has to fall over what he does. Okay, so we want my 3 reasons.
Yeah, I want your 3 reasons.
Do you want to? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So 3 reasons.
I mean,
One,
while you
not
think of
his.
that, sorry.
Well, you mentioned the first one, his fanboys, which, because the thing about that is it's not just that he's like second only to Donald Trump in terms of most obnoxious obsessives. But he actively, but like Trump, he actively encourages it. He's like, look at, he kicks off. He's more than happy to use his influence for a pile on. You've only got to look at what happened with with that cave rescue.
Yes,
where he got upset that somebody else beat him to the punch, and proceeded to call the guy who outperformed him a child molester. So
okay, so point 1, you don't like his personality.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your second point?
The second point is that he is the living archetype of the tech bro. He is like he's like the.
You don't like that? That's his
bro.
personality.
I know. Well, not just the personality part. I'm talking about how he approaches technology.
Okay.
It's like he does. It's like in Jurassic Park. Ian Malcolm criticized the scientists because they were so concerned about whether they didn't stop and think about whether they should. Elon, it's like he doesn't even think about whether he can. It's like he just says something. He says, we're going to do this, and everybody thinks he does. Eventually, after 5 years after he says he'll do it, he might come up with a half-assed version of what he's actually promised. That loop thing that was supposed to revolutionize the motorway travel, but in fact is just a death trap. You're in a.
And here's a comment from the audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
the
you don't like his personality. You dislike his approach to his approach to technology. he says he'll do something, that he will do something, and then he works out the feasibility of it.
Yeah, and
as it were.
and you've got, but he also does the thing. He reinvents the tech bros have a very guilty of reinventing, of coming up with something old and calling it something new again. Like the tech bros who said, let's do this new version of Uber, except it's unmanned vehicles that ride shares that go along specific routes at regular times of the day. And it's like, dude, you just reinvented mass transit and called it and added an app to it.
Yes, it is. Okay, so to clarify,
Madam Redhead.
Just so we got it clarified before we pull you apart like a steak bake. You don't like his encouragement of cult of personality. You dislike. You just like his approach to technology. In the says it as a fait accompli without actually acknowledging the difficulty, and you dislike. You think he reinvents rather than innovates. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
Everyone, pull them apart like a cinnamon.
So the ginger sheep actually also raised the point that I wanted to make, which is that Musk doesn't invent anything. He takes the credit for the hard work and ideas of others. He doesn't do any of this. He is the epitome of that guy. Everyone knows that guy. He's always got an idea. He's always got a plan. He's always got he's basically Del Boy, but less likable and, with worse ideas. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that about that?
You are allowed to have an opinion that his ideas are worse. I think you are being unfair. I am not. Okay, I am not playing devil's advocate here because I think the guy is an arse, and I have been on the record for that before. But I don't see what the problem is with SpaceX on this front. But carry on.
Okay. I counterpoint. He hasn't got the likability of Del Boy. He's more like Arthur Daly. He's more like Arthur Daly, I would say.
A lot of people like him.
Even more crooked.
The thing about Musk is he is a savvy businessman, as savvy as someone who can be, who didn't. Everyone calls him a self-made man. It's like, yeah, I'd be self-made too if my parents gave me money to start my business. But
conflict emeralds.
But the thing.
Oh, they were apartheid emeralds.
Mm-hmm, yeah, that's how they made their money. But anyway,
yeah.
Gossip of
There's a difference between the two.
Yeah,
the thing about Musk that you said that he was second only in Trump to dislikability, and I'm going to have to argue. I can't believe I'm going to argue this one, but there are worse people than Elon Musk. There's a gap between those two, and
Moscow Mitch is still breathing, unfortunately. So
yeah, so I can't believe I'm defending Elon Musk, but there I go.
Okay. Can I lay my counterpoints to these three things that have been put forward?
Yeah.
Unless Redhead's got any more to hit on it.
No, I'll get to mine in a minute.
Right. Okay. So you said, how do you separate the art from the artist? In this case, the art is getting off this rock. Right. So on quite a fundamental level, don't care. We need, as a species, to get off this rock. We've got a limited amount of time on this rock. If we want to continue, we have to get off the rock. I'd draw the line if it was all, if people were being, if the rocket ship was fueled by decomposing people, I'd start having issues. But if the guy in charge of the project is an arse, I don't have a massive problem with that. His encouraging of the cult of personality, okay. Yes, he does do a circus. Yes, he does throw himself into everything. Yes, he does make himself the center of attention. I'm absolutely fine with. I absolutely accept that. And yes, his fanboys annoy the living hell out of me. I don't necessarily, in the SpaceX context, see that as a problem because he is drawing a huge amount of attention to the project. and making space sexy again. His approach to technology, it's a bit of a dick move, but he does that showmanship, and he's doing this as a commercial venture. Okay. So he needs to create. He's trying to commercialize space, which is something that needs to be done to make space travel viable. You can't have it purely within governmental hands if you want it to become a regular thing, a non-highly centralized thing. I mean, you still need controls and all that, but you need to start getting people up there, and you need to get more rockets and do that. You need commerce. And his reinvention of technology, I mean, I know he himself, he's made a quite substandard flamethrower that's a bit pants. I don't know what other actual engineering he has done. I believe he has got qualifications in engineering. I just don't know what he's actually made. But again, the SpaceX project has innovated things. It has. I'm not aware of anyone else doing the reusable rocket thing. So the actual project has done it. So, and if he encouraged that, you got to say. I think it's I'm going to put cards on the table and say, is it because someone has? Are you upset because someone has commercialized space, which involves the marketing side of it, or are you upset that it's him? Do you actually have a problem with him? Because you're gonna. I mean, it could be him or Buffo the Space Monkey. And I'm just saying that they're both PR marketing heads. You know, they're figureheads.
I guess that there is still something within me that favors the nation of the nation state over the private interest. I mean, the commercialization of space is that there's actually something I've been following. There's actually two different projects that are currently legal, that researchers at universities are looking at the thank you, Ginger Ship. That of course goes back to what Miss Redhead was saying about him pirating everybody else's ideas.
Pirating?
So, taking credit for.
I mean, are we just to clarify? Are you saying he literally stole other people's work, or he went, well, me at SpaceX, using the royal we, as it were, of going, I did this because I'm in charge of SpaceX, or
I don't. Well,
actually,
is it theft if you buy out the company?
No,
because
you've paid for it.
Yeah, that's not theft.
Yeah.
I mean, except if you're a communist, and all property is theft.
Yeah. Okay. But
Yeah. So the thing I think that we have to sort of, because we're kind of concentrating on Elon Musk here, and that's not really the point of this.
No.
The point of this is we had a powered flight on Mars, and that was done by NASA, and now Elon Musk is throwing his toys out of the pram because he wanted SpaceX to be first, or whatever I don't know what his tantrum's about. I don't pay any attention to the man.
He hasn't so much. I don't think he's had a tantrum. He's basically turned around and gone, we're going to go to Mars. He's done what Misha identified as a negative approach to technology and gone, we're going to do that without even thinking how.
I mean, the thing about it is it's much the same as when the Wright brothers invented powered flight. It's going to be commercialized because otherwise it's not a viable thing. You can't expect NASA to do it all because they're just one sort of individual. Like, we have a space agency in the UK, I think still. I'm not entirely sure, but we had one, certainly. The Russians had one. There's an Indian space program. But, we're not... The Americas aren't the only ones that have a space program.
But
the thing,
I guess that... Sorry. Carry on.
The thing is, Elon Musk is... words that are unprintable and shouldn't be said near around children, but he is the head of a company that is doing technological innovations. Whether we like the man or not, he is going to make a lot of this technology more accessible to people like you and me, for instance. Is he any different really than Steve Jobs from Apple?
No.
like he's the face of a company. It's like Steve Jobs is the face of Apple, was anyway.
Yeah.
Peter Molyneux was the face of Lionhead and also made large, grandiose promises that he couldn't keep, but that's beside the point. And
turned out to be
this is why I'm comparing him to Bobo the Space Monkey.
He's the monument to capitalism, that he is capitalism in human form, but in this instance, oh God, I can't believe I'm not saying this. Sometimes a little bit of capitalism isn't a bad thing.
No, yes, I'm not saying I entirely concede the point about that. In order to get a lot of these things off the ground, you do need the commercial applications. I mean, would we have the internet as we know it now if it hadn't been built off the back of military communications networks that the universities then?
It went through one of the most notorious paths for technology, which is it went through military, it went to academia, it went to hobbyist, and then it went mainstream.
Yeah.
Then it properly happened when it became commercialized. For those of us who remember the internet.
I will. If I may reframe. I will happily dial back slightly in order to concede your points about the good that SpaceX is doing. Although it could, whether it's Elon or whether it's Bobo the Space Monkey, I'm just. He's still Mark. He's still kind of a knob because of the shit with the patents of the vaccines.
The vaccines were okay. I don't want to defend anyone, but the vaccine thing.
Let's not talk about. Yeah.
He was misquoted on that, and it's steamrolled. And again, this is like with Elon Musk. He said we're going to go to Mars and people are going to die in the process, and everyone went, "Oh, he doesn't care about people." When it was actually along the lines of space travel's dangerous, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like Elon Musk said that. Okay, he was probably ferociously misquoted, and very likely was.
Or just said it badly, like Bobo the trained monkey would.
Yeah, but I mean, space travel we know is inherently dangerous. I mean, who here remembers the Challenger? Was it the Challenger? Who remembers the Challenger? Like, I remember that. I remember that. That being a thing. That was NASA. So him saying space travel, people are going to die, phrasing or not, it's true. Like, everything is built on the blood of others. Like, again, going back to the Wright brothers because it's a really good analogy. They probably didn't expect to survive their first flight because it was like, you know what? Let's do it. What have we got to lose? We're bicycle repairman.
I guess what I'm saying is that it does feed the Elon thing does feed into the wider question of who owns space.
Yeah.
And who owns what bits of space? I mean,
the clangers own the moon.
The little blue planet, which is not.
The clangers. The little fuzzy mice.
Yeah, I know the clangers. It's described as it's described as a blue planet, and is explicitly stated to be far away from our own. I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole because otherwise I'll be forced to bring in an international expert on clanger science, who also happens to be one of the guys who's been involved with the Phosphine on Venus project.
I hate to say this, but moving away from the clangers.
I mean, Ginger Sheep makes a very good point. No one's it owns outer space. It's literally international law. Yeah. Like, currently, that is the law. Elon Musk he has a team of lawyers and will no doubt work out. And also, who is going to police space if Elon Musk gets there first? Like, who's going to
police?
Like, what? A police turns up in a Ford Focus, going now then. It's like,
space precinct.
That is a serious issue, though, because either Elon Musk or someone like Elon Musk is going to change international law, because they're going to launch a rocket and they're going to land somewhere and they're going to go, this is mine, because they built everything there. And that's going to open up a whole bag of international law, or hyper international space law.
I've actually seen a number of scholarly papers on how the existing rules and guidelines of war are applicable in space, combining two of my favourite things: military science fiction and theoretical legal arguments.
Yeah.
Looking at the enforceability of, it's if Elon, there's a certain part of who he's going to police space. It's big, very, very big. There's a lot of it, and you can't be everywhere at once. But
we don't have a federation
on the other
yet.
hand, on the other hand, if Elon's got a colony on Mars, what do you do? Good for him. The pirates are directly above his colony, about to drop kinetic energy weapons on him, and interdicting all supply run from Earth.
But the thing about international law, or any law, is it changes.
Yeah.
Law evolves as the situations call for it. So currently, nobody owns space because under international law you can't. But we are not currently in any way colonizing space. We've got the International Space Station, which I think has got like 4 people on it at a time. Possibly 6. I'm not entirely sure of the exact number. That's not really colonizing space. Like, you can't really you can't populate a world with 6 people because genetics are a thing. And okay, so Elon Musk is saying, "Yay, we're going to go to Mars." Great, good for him. When you do it, buddy, congrats on you. But until then, it's just a load of hot air and wind coming out. And the one thing that I will find that this is doing is, to say, in my deep dive of how does the internet feel about this. You've got a lot of people on the crazy tinfoil hat wearing side, but then you've got a lot of people going, "Wow, science is actually pretty cool. I'm going to look into it." And so going back to what NASA did rather than SpaceX, this is going to get more people involved in science or technology or engineering. And then while we have, on one hand, we have Elon Musk, who is basically a Bond villain, but with worse tailoring, we might get sort of the antithesis of Elon Musk, and we might actually get like a good engineer, technical guy. I don't even know what Elon Musk's terminology is at this point.
Are we Zephyr Cochrane? Are we looking for a Zephyr Cochrane rather than Elon Musk?
To put an alternative spin on it, for as long as I have remembered, for as long as I've been watching things like Tomorrow's World and all that stuff, there's been 2 kinds of "we're going to space" people. Okay, there's been the nervous-looking person in glasses saying the very technical, dry side of things of, "It'll take us this long and we're going to get this rocket on that block there," and all who goes into the technical details of it. And that enthuses a certain kind of person. Okay? And there's been the "we're going to all be living in space fridges on Mars" kind of person who's been all up about the hype, right? And they have coexisted for a long, long time. And they have infused different people for a long, long time. I think this is just the next step of it, because yes, an awful lot of people watch the SpaceX launch, and yes, an awful lot of people are getting hyped about Elon Musk, but an awful lot of people watched the rover land on Mars and went, "Fucking hell, that's awesome!" And a lot of people have seen that little drone flying, and they went, "Fucking hell, that's awesome." There seems to be just this innate, "Oh my god, that's awesome" side of it, and Elon Musk is currently doing all the dull work and making it sound interesting, and making a lot of making the dull work of putting stuff up in space. He's been making really exciting and really interesting. And all these scientists have been doing the really cool stuff of going, "We did this first. We made oxygen on Mars. We found this about Mars." So there is a kind of balance between the two. And I know that Elon Musk is, I think the technical phrase is, a bit of a knobber. But he is banging the drum for space. So I don't there are many, many reasons to really, really bag on Elon Musk. I don't think SpaceX and him being in charge of SpaceX is one of them. Would I like someone who wasn't quite such a knobber in charge of it? Yeah, but I don't have a big problem with him being it because he still gets that drum banged
And also, the thing to think about
and
is
then divorces it.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing also to think about is the chance of us colonizing Mars in Elon Musk's lifetime, let alone like any of our lifetimes, is quite slim considering the sheer physical like strain spaceflight puts on the human body currently. It's not going to happen because the only people who'll be able to go up are the highly trained astronauts who are trained to deal with this. And even when they come back, they have a host of health issues that they have to deal with. So you and we are never going to see people colonizing Mars. It's not going to happen in our lifetime unless we live for a lot longer than we're probably going to.
I think we're likely to see the ships launch. But we're not going to meet. We're never going to meet someone who's lived on Mars.
No, we might be
one-way tickets at the moment.
We might be like in the retirement home watching it on the television when it happens. But that's what I'm saying. Is like this is Elon Musk can bang his drum and toot his own horn and do all the other self-congratulatory things that he no doubt does, and that's great. Go nuts! I mean, what's all he wasting is somebody's airtime and a bit of internet space, and the internet is infinite. But if he inspires some kid from somewhere to go, hey, science is actually kind of cool, but they have like a moral compass, then yay, great! I'd love the next Elon Musk to actually be a decent human being.
And if they can do all the heavy lifting for NASA and do it cheaper and do it more regularly, then great. Then NASA can go and find another scared-looking person in glasses that can tell me precisely what kind of ice they found, and I'll sit there and go, don't understand it, but fuck me, that's cool.
Yeah. I think we should take away from all this is fucking cool, and yay space, and yay science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would rather they had Bobo the Space Monkey than Elon Musk.
I mean, to be fair, Bobo the Space Monkey sounds cute and fuzzy, and he's probably wearing a little hat.
Yeah, but there's probably something terrible in his history. Has Mish got anything he wants to close this one on?
Apart from, you
didn't mean to bag on you.
No, that's fine.
Sorry, he's going to bag on me in a minute.
What's the point of doing it if I can't be challenged by about what I'm thinking? Oh, that is.
Yeah.
Okay, that is sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard the news.
Yes. Third man on the moon.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
See you soon, Space Cowboy.
Any more?
I guess the only thing I'll close on is, let's let Elon contribute to the project and do the heavy lifting, but let's not take our eyes off him for 1 second. Is that fair?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust that man as far as I could throw him or buy a used car off of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
a man who designs a car that you can't actually open the doors of in an emergency.
Again, he didn't design the car.
Is this the man? Yeah.
His company designed the car.
His company doesn't design cars. His company shares trades in carbon allowances. Anyway, we'll cause a draw on that. Thank you to the comment section for your lovely insightfulness. Apologies for not calling them out more. Mishy, as you've seen, has a bit of choppiness going on in his mic, so I don't want to break up the limited that we get. But onto a more serious subject. Gaming tat.
Yeah,
the Redheaded Rambler.
So this came about. I was watching somebody on Twitch, and they started looking at weird gamer merch that you could buy, and they found the Razer reusable straw, and I was like, surely this is a joke. And no, it is not a joke. It exists. It is $20, and it has tech specs.
And what are these tech specs? Tell us
So-
why we should get this razor item.
Razer reusable straw tech specs. At a glance, what's inside? Telescopic stainless steel straw with silicon tip, telescopic cleaning brush, silicon casing with carabiner. Straw size and weight: length 100 to 230 millimeters or 3.9 to 9 inches. Bottom inner diameter 5.9 millimeters or 0.23 inches. Weight 10.7 grams or 0.02 24 pounds. Maintenance. For first time use, we recommend you wash the straw using warm water and detergent. Use the cleaning brush to clean the straw interior. Make sure to rinse the straw after every use. Soak in hot water for 30 seconds to sanitize. Air dry the straw before stowing inside the case. Usage guidelines. Do keep away from children. Do apply caution when drinking hot beverage. Do not bite the metal straw to avoid injury. And do not use while walking, running, or while inside a moving vehicle. As in, please don't sue us.
Okay, and yeah,
It gets worse.
So,
Oh yeah, it gets worse. I promise.
so did we have any? I mean, some people do need straws, and some
Myself
people
included.
who need straws do like gaming products. I mean, what is the issue here? And
It's not an issue so much as it's like I get why companies are doing this because branching out more money is this is the thing, like it's $20 for one straw, whereas IKEA do a pack of 4 with a cleaning brush for $4.99.
But they aren't branded.
They're not Razer branded, and they're not telescopic. That's the thing. No, it's a ready straw. This is the thing. Like, I have to use a straw because, like, drinking for me is very hard, and holding a cup for long periods of time can give me issue. So I use straws, and I have metal straws. I have like rubber ones. I have all sorts, and I can get like. If this was just a product I'd found on Amazon and it wasn't Razer branded and it was like $5, I'd probably go, "Ooh, I get one of those because it'll clip on my bag." But it's like. You're paying for the Razer branding, and I know that there are some people out there who their entire brand is that they are gamers and that is who they are, and like they have. But Razer are trying. I kind of like what Razer's trying to do with this because they're trying to make it
normalize, I think is the phrase.
Yeah, they're trying to normalize it, and also they're trying to sort of go the eco route. Yeah. Because it's like go green with Razer's commitment to sustainability. I mean, and
you
could argue
it to people who might not necessarily otherwise be interested in that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I mean, the hashtag they've got is...
Which comes back to Elon again.
Yeah, I mean, the hashtag for this straw is hashtag straws suck, but this one doesn't. And it's like... It's just like hashtags, but like they've got other things on their website that you can buy, like the Snecky Snack plushie, which I kind of want because it's adorable.
The plushie's adorable.
He's $30, but for every Snecky Snack plushie sold, they save 10 trees. I don't know if they plant new ones or like, but they're doing.
It's a bit of merch. I don't have a problem with that because it's a bit of merch that they're going to sell, and they'd sell it for that much anyway. But they're bunging in some saved trees, and I like trees, so
yeah, we all like trees.
But the toilet roll we buy is like it. But they plant 3 trees for every one they use to make toilet roll.
Okay,
so not exactly. It's not. I give them some credit, but not necessarily a huge amount.
No, I mean, I'm like, they're still a company, they're still wanting it to make money, and I get that, but I like that they've sort of gone, this is the thing I'm liking about this sort of gamer lifestyle merch, is that these companies are branching out in such weird ways. Like,
oh boy! Oh, have they? Because I went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, like there's this stuff that you could get, which is basically liquid chalk, but it's called Gamer Grip, and it's supposedly you're supposed to put it on your hands to stop the controller from slipping out your hands because it gets sweaty. And it's like, I've never ever in my entire history as a gamer had a problem holding onto my controller.
Can you please tell me if this is a thing real pro gamers do?
I do see this, but like it's liquid chalk. You use it for rock climbing or ballet, or like there's loads of uses in sport. It's a sport thing, and they've just gone, let's stick a gamer branding on it, and like the nerds will buy it. It's $10.
Yeah.
I did see the what I did see was the mask, which claim is all singing, all dancing, all this, all that, but ultimately, if you look at it, you know, you could not tell the difference between that.
Sweet straw sponsorship.
Apparently, we need to know what's happening with our viewers in the bar.
Of course, yeah. You could not tell the difference between that and the identical-looking masks worn by, you know, out of every 3 cybergoths that I'm liked on a. The only difference is it comes in a case, and a UV treated case that just smacks to me of colloidal silver.
I mean, they're marketing it as the world's smartest mask, and I'm like, is it going to stop people wearing it under their nose? Is that because that's the technology I want to see in this mask?
I mean, the mask has got a lot. It's got. I'm not reading them out. The comments are so thick and fast. They're keeping themselves amused. That's the important thing. Someone's got to entertain them, and it's not us. The mask is kind of a cash in. It's also, I don't know. I'm. If someone's gonna go, yeah, actually, that'll make me wear a mask. Then great. Anything to get the R number down.
I mean, and it's currently at this point, it's a prototype. They haven't released it yet, so I can't give you like specs on it. But it does come with RGB.
Cool.
Which is everyone knows every gamer thing must come with RGB.
Hey, I like it because I'll probably like sanitize it from their branding and turn it into something I just wear because I'm.
You're a nerd.
I have opinions about aesthetics, but I think it demonstrates that people want this stuff.
Friends who can swap out the LEDs in their masks. It's not.
Oh no, but I mean the one thing I've seen going through all this is there's a lot of companies that make merchandise for their customers because people want a lot of merchandise. Gamers want to buy this stuff. There's no exploitation here. They're going, we want to.
Yeah.
This is lifestyle marketing, which is basically them going, we want to show who we are.
I mean, you can buy OnlyFans merch, and I don't mean people who are on OnlyFans. I mean OnlyFans themselves do merch.
Oh yeah,
and it's just like, okay.
This is just an extension of the merch that exists for every thing out there. Although, oh my god, would you like to see some of the crap I found?
I mean, we will. Yeah, well, we'll. Sorry.
No, I mean, one of my many and varied jobs I've had in my life was as a courier for fashion periodicals and doling out the key part of my job. The most important thing I had to do in my job was maintain the disconnect between the value of the stuff I was delivering versus how much I was being paid to deliver it. Famously, at one point, I actually got stopped. I got stopped and searched by the police for the crime of walking around the tube with a backpack looking vaguely Middle Eastern. And I was like, look, okay, I know you got to do this, fair enough, do your thing, but can you be careful about that? This rucksack contains 5 pairs of Patrick Pox and 2 pairs of Manolo Blahniks. The combined retail value of this is more than all of us together earn in a year. Unless Christian Louboutin has started doing Semtex kitten heels, you're not going to find an IED in there.
I mean, I'm also
way more dangerous.
But like going into the shoe, like I'm not even going to go into the weird mashup of shoes. Like Balenciaga did a croc. I just want to clear up an issue that's going on in chat. N64 Live podcast. The prototype is for the mask, not the straw. The straw is available for the straw is available for purchase. The mask is still a concept. It's not an actual thing that you can buy.
As Ginger Sheep said, it's pure consumerism. Yes, this is pure consumerism. This is people want a thing. I'm gonna jump in off of his comment of this is pure consumerism. Yes, and we're talking about companies that make gamer products, right? And they want to make money. Okay, so if you've got these people who like your brand, and I've worked for a number of companies where one of the biggest problems they've had is they couldn't get the money off people quickly enough. So people were going and buying counterfeit products, because essentially counterfeit products, and giving money to people who weren't the company because they were so into the company's product they wanted to represent, right? So if you, I mean, we're also talking like people who make high-end keyboards. Okay, they're about 100 quid a pop. High-end mouse, 100 quid a pop. High-end monitor, what, you can get one for 300, 400, 500 quid. High-end graphics card, how much do you want to spend? We're talking about people making serious products, right? That are serious purchases. You're only going to make those occasionally. But if someone's got 30, 40, 50 quid they want to give you for something that isn't your high-end product, you're going to want to make something for them to have. So
you might make a speaker that contains human blood.
But also, like, is it any
that was
different?
Technically art.
I mean, let's be honest. Is this any different than people wearing all Adidas or Burberry or like Gucci? Like, it's it's as I say, it's. I look at some of these products and go, no, not my idea. But like, I would happily buy the Snicky Snick head pillow and plushie if I had like an extra 60 quid to spend. But I don't, so I'm not going to. But like, some of
how many of us would buy Bunkazilla merch?
All of you would
yeah.
buy Bunkazilla merch.
Yes, that is the correct answer.
And if I could
buy Bunkazilla merch,
I'm gonna get onto shilling later. But if we could make money off merch, oh boy, would we be making money off merch? Because you want to.
But, I mean, Andrew, you have. I think I'm going to save my second one for the end because it's so ridiculous. So, do you want to show us some of the treasure trove of weirdness?
There's some of the treasure troves I found. And again, these are all from companies that I quite like. I'm going to start with the relatively interesting. So, Corsair, very good cooling manufacturers. They've done an awful lot of work on cooling. They've done some work on cases, again, mostly cooling centered. They've expanded into various other markets, but they're one of the big cooling codes. So obviously, you're going to go for them when you want a nice, cool glass of water from a little caddy. You can get a Corsair water bottle.
Yeah, I mean, like I have that exact same bottle, but it's got the Batman logo printed on it. A friend gave it to me for Christmas. Love it. It's best. So they haven't made it. All they've done is slap their branding on.
Oh yeah. But the thing I love the most about this is that the branding's really difficult to see. This is why I've all
elegant.
Everyone does hoodies, everyone does t-shirts, caps, all that junk. MSI do branded cable ties, which is impressive because it's like really little tiny cable ties. But that one, you're going to spend over the odds for something that looks like a regular bottle. Fun. And then we move over to Alienware. Okay. Now, Alienware, producers of some of the most, oh my god, I want that technology on the planet. And a carry case. But this isn't any ordinary carry case.
It's an Alienware one.
This is an Alienware rolling carry case. I don't think you can see it, but with a handle, a collapsible handle, with sufficient space for a laptop, a tablet, and, as per the advert, 2 days worth of clothing.
Yeah, and I do believe that you can get the little alien head in multiple colours.
Yes.
I think they even did a very limited edition one where you could get one with RGB in it and it would change colour.
But what Alienware have essentially done is they've invented a suitcase.
Well, let's be honest. They're not.
Which-
I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest. I've seen those on businessmen on trains and airports for my entire
It's-
life.
It's
It's just hey,
I-
we slapped a
but-
logo on it. Have an extra $100 on the price.
I'm going to see what the screamers have been saying.
Yeah.
Yes, Bunkazilla
Yeah.
straws. If you'll give us money, we'll make them. Hey,
Yeah.
I run a very small merchandising business. I will sell anything that's not nailed down.
Yeah, I go to Bunkazilla stomping grounds and suggest Bunkazilla merch there.
Yeah, branding like this, not been around. It's been here forever. Yes. Alienware, you mean Dell? Oh God, I don't want to start. Alienware, give me. Okay, right. Just mark. One day I will own an Alienware PC. So don't piss on my dreams. But yeah, they're basically making that, which is cool. But if you want something a little bit more spassy in your life,
Spassy.
this one is from
Space.
Asus. This is a it's a backpack with RGB lighting strip, completely programmable RGB lighting.
How much weight does that add to the backpack? Because
Yeah, it's quite a bad backpack from everything I've seen on this.
I mean, like the design of the backpack itself, I actually quite like it. It's got the big, nice front
It's all
pocket.
right,
It's got it's got the little bits, but then you add that, like I
Yeah.
like the RGB, but like backpacks are bad for your back anyway. So now you're adding extra
Yeah.
light weight to make it light up. Have
Yeah,
you heard of like reflective tape? That works
And
just as
to
well.
keep, to keep on with my trend of being the cynical one here, I could take my hiking rucksack and get a friend of mine to sew some LEDs in. They would have.
oh yeah, I have.
And then I could have a 65-litre disco bag if I wanted.
Oh, you can also buy an Asus RGB Asus logo projector, which I don't get.
I mean, I guess
Is
if
that
you're
only
really into
project the logo?
Asus,
As far as
Yeah.
I can tell, it only projects the logo.
but I bet you it projects the logo in different
Just the
colors.
logo, nothing else.
Yeah, it's RGB, but
Yeah.
you can have it projected on your wall in any color. I just thought that was a monumentally dumb piece of technology. It's like, okay, but also no. This is discounting all the other stuff we found that is just slapped on merch. MSI do zip toggles. You can buy MSI branded zip toggles to just put them on your jacket and you'll have a little
but-
MSI logo. They also do a very cute dragon. But
Um,
people are buying this.
Yeah, but I mean, let's go for the epitome of ridiculous stuff to buy, and that is good old Gwyneth Paltrow and her Goop range.
Yeah.
She had a goddamn paperclip. It was made of gold, and it was like couple of grand, and it's like, who is buying that? It's a paperclip.
People who want to buy into a lifestyle. That's
Yeah,
all this is.
But that's the thing, is that I quite like that the gaming industry is kind of getting into that without the ridiculous price tag. Okay, some of these things are ridiculously priced, let's be honest. But it's like they're sort of going, hey, we have fans out there that want to show off our merch or show off that they like us, so why not make money out of it? And again,
Yeah.
capitalism is bad, yada yada yada, but if it's not them, it's going to be that somebody in China making the knockoffs.
As I said, bye timey-wimey, timey-to-wimey. We hope you had a fun bath. We'll speak to you again soon. I'm trying to keep up to date with all the other bits. This is just the evolution of the gamer lifestyle. This is like someone wearing a Man U t-shirt the whole time. It's their thing. It's cool. It's happening.
Yeah, as I say, like I think it's great, but I also think that there are some things that should not be done.
Well, such
Like-
as.
Well, the shoe that I found would be a very good one to bring in.
No, we so disagree on this.
So yeah, no, like so. Could you show the lovely chat the picture of this?
See, this
shoe?
is quality bullshit.
So yeah, that is a pair of trainers that NZXT and why are they all letters? And RTFKT have collabed on.
Artifact.
Is that art? I thought it
Artifact.
was.
Oh yeah. So basically, looking at that, you think, oh yeah, it's just a RTX 380 ground into the hill. No, that is a full PC in a shoe.
Yeah.
There is a video on Artifact Studios Twitter that you can view, and it lights up. It's got screens on it. That little thing that says NZXT on the side shows video. And I
It's
don't.
just fully, yeah. Oh, this is just a stunt case. That's all. I find that unless they're actually selling it, this is just a stunt case, and they're hilarious.
Currently, they're taking, like, you can sign up to be notified when it goes to, like, sale, and I know a lot of people have, but it's the fact that I don't think they don't work as shoes, so it's a fancy shaped case at this point, because there's no way you're fitting your foot in that, and even if you can fit your foot in that, the second you take a step, you're going to destroy everything.
Oh yeah, it's a novelty case.
Yeah.
I like it's like with the straw. There's a part of me that really likes the novelty. There's a part of me that really likes the frivolity. It's even when I'm looking through these pages and seeing ridiculous stuff, there's a bit of me which is like, yeah, but if I really, really liked this brand, I'd really, really like to have that. So,
and I mean, there are people out there that are into shoes. So,
yeah, let Misha. Yeah,
Sorry,
go for it.
Just right. I mean, the observation you have to make is that those could be one of the first shoes that could actually pay for themselves. Because while you're walking around with them, they're also mining Bitcoin.
Keep your feet warm in winter.
As I say, I'm not 100% sure there is any space in them to put your foot. Yeah,
we're back to the RFK.
KFC console.
I haven't heard any more on that. I still want to get one.
Yeah, I haven't heard any more on that. I've signed up to be notified of it when it goes on sale, so I'm like, I'm not going to buy one. I said, way I will be able to afford one, but I want to know more. Yeah,
Would you like to know more?
Ginger Sleep, please don't set fire to Misha's chair.
No,
But like,
I think, yeah.
The question I have is, it's taking two products that are both serviceable, pair of shoes, which granted they're not my sort of shoe that I would personally wear, but they look comfy, and then you're taking quite a nice PC and combining the two, and they're not going to work as either thing. You can't wear them, and I'm not entirely sure you can run anything off it.
It's a stunt console. It's a stunt unit. It's showing off that they can do it. Now,
But considering the global shortage of graphic cards, was it really the best use of a graphics card to stick it in a shoe?
Possibly not, but also, I mean, going back to the merch thing, considering the global shortage of silicon, I'm not surprised that Razer is plugging masks and these straws, because it's not like it's got a load of graphics cards to sell. It's not like people are desperately trying to upgrade their monitors because they can't get hold of the stuff. It's adapting to a market. Pardon me while I try and get comfortable after today's accident.
But the straw is interesting because you say there's a global shortage of silicon, and the straw has a silicon cap on it.
A specific grade of silicon. And also I think, like with the straw and with the mask, it's normalizing and fashionifying. With the RGB on everything, it's, for me, as someone who makes a bunch of his own kit, in his own clothing, it's like, oh, I now know that exists as a little widget you can get. Great, I can try and slam it into a jacket. So it's nothing I'd ever want to buy, but there's components of it that make me go, well, that's cool, and it gets the message out there. And, people have fun. And we get off for people who spend the money on it. So win-win, baby.
The thing is that, like, the Razer straw, Razer's not really my thing, but if, say, somebody stuck a Dragon Age logo or a Mass Effect logo on that
you'd
thing,
be all over that.
I would be like, take my money now. So, like, I can't...
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favourite straw in the Citadel.
I mean, if it spoke as well, I'm there. By the way, take my money.
It is amazing how people will scoff at people spending stupid amounts of money on stuff until it's their brand. At which point they're like, "Oh,
No,
I mean."
I want to make very clear, I'm not making fun of people who buy the razor straw or the mask or the snaky stick or even the shoe PC thing if it ever goes on sale. I just like I understand some of it, but like what brought this to my attention really was like it's a tech company, but they're making a straw, and I just like I was like, what? Why?
It's the disconnect. It's like a water bottle. I don't have a problem.
Yeah, as you say, it's like the disconnect. It's like I get like maybe wearing a hoodie with the Razer logo on because it's but some of it it's like, well, unless you get really close to the straw case, you're not going to know it's a Razer straw because who's going like this on straws that people are drinking from?
We're now back to the high fashion with Misha. Are you wearing it because it's good clothing? Are you wearing it because it's good affordable clothing? Or are you wearing it because, like Louis Vuitton bags, for example, it's like, are they actually any good, or do they make you feel good?
I mean, the thing about high fashion stuff.
There's a whole, but there's a lot of it. It's a whole mix of things in different.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in the land of the copy of the copy. Like, I grew up in Hong Kong, and you could go to like the high end stores and you could buy the Louis Vuitton bag, but if you went 2 minutes around the corner, there was a little guy in an alleyway selling the knockoffs, and you can't tell the knockoffs from the reals because they're made in the same factory. What happens is, daytime the authentic stuff is made, and then the nighttime shift comes in and makes the copies. So it's like, and like if it's a company like Louis Vuitton or Gucci, I'm sorry, but like you're charging $3,000 for a pair of shoes or a bag. No.
But then
when my wife was pregnant with our first daughter, we went to the prenatal classes, and somebody who was there was somebody who worked in the nappy industry, like he worked in the that makes disposable nappies, and he was quite upfront about the fact that the nappies that come out of the nappies that come out of the factory are all identical. It's just some of them go to here and get branded differently than the other ones, and the price varies accordingly.
Yeah, and none of the stuff I found on my like deep dive was anything that made me went, they're charging how much? Okay, there were a couple of things like the liquid chalk was like, yeah, but you can get that for $4.99 from like a sporting goods store, and just because you slap gamer chalk on it doesn't suddenly make it, or gamer grip. But like even the straw, like looking at that straw and like what it can do, and it's got the little like case and everything, I'm like, okay, $20 seems a little excessive, but I'm not going, oh holy god. Like if they were charging $50, I'd be like, are you high?
Someone would buy it.
Yeah, someone would still buy it, but it's like they that would more be a like status thing, whereas I think like Razer's trying to make it as accessible as they can to their fans who maybe can't afford a Razer chair but like Razer, so then they can get the little head pillow, and then they kind of feel like they've got a Razer chair. As I say, I've kind of got a boring bog standard one, and I'm kind of tempted by the snake because it's adorable. Not even that big a Razer fan. I find their products kind of weird, but it's a little green snake, and he's going. So why wouldn't I?
Anyway, away from that discussion,
do they have badgers and mushrooms though?
Badger.
Away from that grotesque commercialism and onto an advert.
From the minds who brought you Paul and Andrew watch all of Friday the 13th.
Oh my god, they're dead.
Ooh, we've got Stalker Cam again. I think Jason's near.
He's going for a window shot. And 10 feet! A new record! The crowd goes wild. First kill?
I think that makes it a first kill. It's official.
First kill drink.
Comes their latest extravaganza of cinematic viewing endurance.
I don't know about you, but I don't think this film has got very high moral standards.
I think my favourite kill was probably when their face got shoved into the side of the caravan.
Well, I was expecting mild entertainment, and boy, did it deliver.
So why don't you give me one of the positive critics' reviews then?
No.
A story beyond time, an idea beyond imagination, and a saga beyond dreams.
And so now, because I picked it,
We're watching all of the Halloween movies,
all 11 of them currently in order,
with Paul's exciting statistics,
and Andrew's amazing facts,
a ranking of the whole series by me,
and a whole load of giggling at senseless murder by him.
and you are invited to join us for the ride.
Paul and Andrew watch all of Halloween, streaming from May 4th on Bunkazilla.
It'll be
It'll
great.
be great. So yeah, Paul and Andrew watch all of Halloween, starting. Dead.
Lost. Peel one down.
What broke you?
The voice. And the whole combination of like you two sitting there and this like really deeply serious movie voice over the top. It's just like what?
So anyway, yeah, every other week, me and Paul are going to be watching one of the Halloween movies. You're more than welcome to join us. He does stats, I do facts. We both do deep dive analysis, and we build up a chance of which Halloween is the most Halloweeny, which gets kind of complicated when you realise there are 3 movies in the series called Halloween and 2 movies in the series called Halloween 2. So.
Also, are you ever going to do one of these that's not a horror franchise?
We're investigating that. I'm really tempted to do Herbie next, but we haven't found any really long franchise. The horror movies do long franchises. There's not really any. I'm not doing Bond.
Star Trek.
Carry on.
Carry On's a bit dicey.
Anyway,
Hellraisers.
We might do Tremors. Anyway.
Hellraisers is still a horror one, Ginger Sheep.
Yes, Manga Girl. Yes, you should join. It'll be awesome. Bring your own video. You can find it from many places. Hellraiser, spoken like someone who hasn't seen most of the Hellraiser series. But yeah, we tend to do horror because it's funny because they go really bad. Anyway. Enough of my shameless plug. I actually got to do it. What? Oh God, I don't do them. They're terrible.
I mean, let's be honest. The Saw isn't really a film as so much as it is like torture porn.
Which is a film style.
Yeah, but there's like literally like I've watched at least 3 of the Saw films and they're all the same. Like there's no change. The characters change slightly, but you just don't care.
That could equally apply to a lot of other horror franchises, though, couldn't it?
This is why we like doing stuff from the 80s because it's amusingly horrible and morally inappropriate. Anyway, he says trying to find his. Oh God, why are so many people contacting me?
You had the image earlier.
They love you.
No, I'm not looking for the image. I'm looking for the script.
There's a script.
Yeah, Station Controller gave me this because this bit is from our wonderful, from our wonderful esteemed colleagues who give us money. We ain't done yet. You don't run away. This isn't over. Here we go. So, as decided by a combination of our lovely Patreons and our Facebook community over at the Stomping Grounds. If you don't follow us on the Stomping Grounds, go to Facebook, find the Stomping Grounds, and follow us. Do that. Our very first viewer's choice topic. And if you love your favorite classic films, hold on to them close and keep them safe and hide them away. This is based on BBC News report detailing how it is viable. It's now pretty much possible to add digital product placement to films and programs, old and new. Myriad, an advertising company based in the UK, expects such digital product placement to become widespread. The company, made of former movie visual effects artists, having come up with the process of reading images, understanding depth, motion, fabric, etc., and introducing new images to map over them after previously making special effects. They used to do special effects, they now do this. The total global product placement industry for films, TV shows, and music videos is 20 billion, and that's for one-time static options. It's hugely lucrative to get show's leading character to wear a certain item of clothing or drink a particular coffee or drive a specific car. So with this technology potentially ready to get to work, should fans be worried that advertising and studios could start altering classic films and television? That is the case that has been put to us. And in many ways, especially with the expansion of piracy and the dissolution of the drop of viewing numbers across a number of streams, product placement has become a very important part of a lot of TV and film, because it is how you pay for the thing. Because if people aren't going to pay by actually paying for it, then you make sure you work out the demographics, and you can get people to put their product in based on your pirated viewer count. So that's pretty interesting. And this one's also for the comment section, so please.
I mean, yeah, the thing I have, the objection I have to this is product placement is a thing of movies, television, all media really these days, and that's fine if it is done at the point of origin. But like, I think somebody used the idea of putting like red Nikes on Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, and I'm like, no.
I don't think they're planning on being that blunt. I'm saying that.
But like the image that you used is something that when people hear this story, they're going to think, oh God, they're going to put like mobile phone adverts on The Great Escape or something like that. And yeah, only if AT-AT walkers get out. Yes, I will. Like, to be fair, Lucas strips the Star Wars movies of any scope of being good any longer.
We send 350 million a year to the Galactic Council. Let's spend it on the Death Star instead.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. You putting it in stuff that's currently being filmed or made. Yeah, go nuts. Carry on.
They can do it on the old stuff.
But what the question I have is, like, as Just Mark said, how are you going to put a mobile phone or a laptop into a pre-1990 film?
Okay. My assumption in this is they're not idiots. So,
I mean, they kind of are.
For example, I'm talking like your old episodes of Friends, where you've got Ross wearing a T-shirt that currently says Nike. You could change it to say Coca-Cola, or you could change it to to Apple products. You can change assuming that they do it intelligently. I mean, there's two strands. There's doing it backward. There's the backwards factor, and there's the forwards factor. So let's start with ignore the backwards, because that's the one where people get really, really worried. Rolling forwards. I mean, do you have a massive problem with, if you watch the movie one week, they're flying Delta Airlines, and if you watch the movie next week, they're flying Virgin Atlantic? That kind of thing. Would that bug or upset you?
From a philosophical point, what's the difference between that and any other kind of post, after effects of whether that's editing out bits of other bits of post-production stuff.
Yeah, but what I think he's getting at is that, like, they could change on a week. Like, you go see a film in the cinema one week, it's got one advert, and then you see it the next week in the cinema again, and it's changed to a different one. I was thinking of regionalized advertising, each one. Which, that's fine. I don't have a problem with them doing that, because as long as they're not going in and just doing it to go, oh, look at us, aren't we clever? Like, I can see this being a gimmick that gets overused and gets ripped to shreds on the internet because it's going to be a meme, whatever happens. Like, people are going to meme this to heck and back.
Oh yeah, but
I think the problem with it is that I know we're trying to go away from the backwards thing, but they're two issues. Yeah, but look, the thing about product placement in television, films, music videos, anything like that, is that it has to be believable. Like there's the whole thing about a lot of music videos have always got Beats headphones in them because Dr. Dre, like the Beats brand, is like, hey, put our stuff in your video and we'll give you money, and people are like, yes, even if it doesn't quite make sense for there to be headphones in the particular, and it's a meme, people make fun of it. I think that it has to be done. Product placement is always ripped because you know that there's you can always think of a movie where it's like, okay, right, so you've said the brand about 3 times in the last 30 seconds, or some of the Pierce Brosnan James Bond films were just like BMW adverts, and it was just ridiculous, and it was laughable. And that's the problem I think I have with this, is that, okay, I'm not saying all media has to be highbrow or anything like that, but even the stuff where it could be fun, I think if it's overused, people are going to get sick of it, and it's not going to do what they want to. And it's just going to be a gimmick. Which
I'm gonna get back. This kind of ties in. So again, that can be done already. Look at Demolition Man. In the US version, the movie was Taco Bell, who won the fast food wars, but outside, it was a different company because Taco Bell didn't exist there. There was also. It's not an advertising example, but I do know that the various cuts of Captain America had him writing different things in his book of things to do because they're different cultural mores.
Yeah.
So my understanding of this advertising is background stuff. So when you're watching a movie these days, you have people using certain laptops, you have them drinking certain drinks, you see the product placement there. With the plane flight, it's literally, if you think of a plane flight sequence, it's literally changing the livery on the plane, changing the livery, the flag on the plane, changing the livery inside. Is that's changing on a dynamic status? Is that an issue? And I'm not talking about big standout things. I'm talking about the background advertising, which is where the bulk of the money is.
But like using your Captain America example where he was writing different things in the book, they shot those individually. They didn't just, it wasn't just done CGI, because the problem is that using Justice League as a very good example, bad CGI exists in big budget movies.
Oh, if it's, right,
and
okay.
The problem I think I'm going to have with it is, like, if they're changing, say someone's sitting in the background and they've got an Apple laptop and then they change it to a Dell laptop, those are 2 entirely different pieces of kit, and I don't think it's going to look good. So it's going to be a jarring disconnect in the background, because you're going to kind of look at it and go, what is wrong with that thing in the background? And you're going to focus on that rather than the thing you've actually paid to watch.
Okay, so you're concerned it'll create visual artifacts that will distract.
Yes, I'm concerned of the jarring taking away from the actual narrative of what's going on.
But then you've got the question of how the thing being represented and the way in which it's being put in there is going to affect how it's done and what people will pay for it. If you thought your product was going to be badly photoshopped into a print, like cracks.com photoplasty style, then are you going to want to pay money for that on the grounds that people are going to see it, laugh at it, meme it, and you'll get your message out that way? Are you going to not want to pay because you don't want your product to be associated with that kind of shoddy workmanship? If they've got this technology that can do it seamlessly, assume
that it looks real and works fine, how do you feel about it then?
And honest, it's really makes no difference. I mean, if a brand that I have a particular objection to is heavily featured in something, I may choose to not engage with it. I refuse to watch anything with Tom Cruise in it these days because Scientology have harassed me and a load of my friends. So
Cylon's bad.
Yeah. But that's me, and I would be upset if I was watching something and suddenly there's, the Scientologists have paid to have an advert in that, and suddenly I'm getting this thing front and center. But that's about as far as it would go. And if this technology gets really good, what's to stop the individually targeted advertising? Like, they combine
Theoretically, nothing.
Yeah, they combine their technology with whatever the iteration of the advertising algorithm is at that point. They could literally, on the fly, theoretically speaking, just put a brand that they know you are interested in into they could make that laptop they could change that Dell laptop to an Alienware.
Yeah, as Ginger Sheep said,
or they
advertising deepfakes. I think that's that level that they're talking about doing it.
When I saw this story, though, I just was like, wait, is this the plot of a Black Mirror episode?
Why did it make you feel that?
Because it seems like I don't particularly like Black Mirror as a show. I appreciate the concept and what they're trying to do with it, but for me, I've never got into it. But like, occasionally I hear about an episode and I'm like, oh, that's very true to life. And this just felt like, it's sort of, as Misha was saying about targeted advertising, and it's sort of, it just reminded me a bit of like, they were always watching you, sort of Big Brother and things like that. And I just thought, who's asking for this technology? Like, because set dressing, but this is the thing, like set dressing is a thing. It's an actual thing within the movie industry. Like, a lot of times, like they buy, like if you see someone's got cereal on top of their fridge, you'll look at it and go, oh, that's Cocoa Pops. But actually, if you look at the box, it doesn't say Cocoa Pops at all.
Oh,
they've had to dress it up differently. So for me, I don't see people. You say advertisers are asking for this, but it's not just the advertisers they've got to sell it to. It's also the movie companies, the television companies, the music video companies. All of those people have got to get on board with that. They will make money.
So
but
what's stopping them?
Yeah, but the thing is that the cost versus what you get. It's because nowadays, like, oh, I want, use Coca-Cola as an example because everyone knows Coca-Cola. They go to the new superhero movie and say, hey, we want to give you guys, we want Coke in your movie. And they're like, okay, what do you want? And they're like, well, we'll give you this much money and we want this much airtime. And the movie, and then you'll get Steve Rogers drinking a can of Coke.
Yeah. Because
a lot of this stuff happens before. It's because obviously they need the funding for the movie, so a lot of this stuff happens beforehand, so it's already agreed upon that Coke is going to get this much airtime in our new Marvel movie, and that's it, because that's so adding it in afterwards seems
okay. As someone who's worked in marketing, you're looking at you would be looking at a situation with something like the Marvel movie. That would be an exclusive. The value you're talking about an exclusive advert. You're talking about a contract that would state this Coke can will stay a Coke can forever, right?
Yeah, movie copyright law and everything would have to come into account for this because it's not.
It's a lot simpler than that. It's an awful lot simpler than that. For that Coke can. Okay, so one of the reasons they use a lot of false products is because you need permission to use various copyright images. Okay, so if you are seeing, in most situations, if you have someone drinking a Coke can and you can see it as a Coke can, that is because that's product placement. Someone has given them money or consideration to have that Coke can in that, right? Okay. that because they see there being a value of their product being in that film. Okay. You're describing an exclusive, what would these days is just because you can only do it once. That's Coca-Cola going, we're going to give you 50 million to your project to have a scene where Captain America drinks a can of Coke, right? If that then becomes a movable target, like anyone can have their soft drink in the Captain America movie, you're probably looking at Coca-Cola going, we'll give you 100 million for it to be always that. Okay? And they would buy that content slot. Legally, very, very easy.
Yeah.
It's just a straightforward production cost, and it's a binding contract. And that's then always the advert slot there. So that's your A tier massive movies. Or they might go, right, this scene's got 5 product placement slots. There's 1 in the middle which we'll keep permanent, and 4 at the back. Whoever's paying us the most money this month gets it. So it's it's the cost of putting it in would be minimal. It's the technology of adding it to the movie would be relatively minimal. It's the people buying the slots and buying the advertising space. That's the generation of money, which presumably would also be some generation of return.
And similarly, you could use, you're talking about the idea of, of putting something on there onto a slate, the blank spots. But then you could do it, but the other way, deliberately putting something in to cover up something else. It's like, maybe there's a British, maybe you've got, there's some film that's got pictures of Jimmy Savile, and they decide they don't want Jimmy Savile anymore. The thing that occurs is how well the technology could be used for censorship, for whatever reason. Maybe and if you've got, and here's something that it's like, if you've, there's a whole discussion about the Western companies making editorial decisions in their products for the benefit of the Chinese market. Now, if you can do some trickery and if you just you're photoshopping the Free Tibet signs out on the fly for the Chinese release.
I get the concern. I don't think.
I don't know. Is it? I mean,
technology. I don't.
Is it a? I mean, I don't know. Is it a concern? I mean, in that sense, if they're paying if somebody's paying to have that done, or if somebody's paying for it not to be done, or
if you're referring to political censorship, it's an awful It's an awful lot easier just to ban the content. They just take it out. This is. The technology could be used. The technology could. This type of technology could be used. The deepfake technology, the image recognition technology, which are the two things, could be used to block certain images. But you'd do that at a broadcaster level, not at a content level. If you were trying to censor stuff, that's where you'd do it. This is an advertising technology. You could. I don't see any difference between this and, I mean, Ginger Sheep referred to it as double dipping. I don't see any difference between this and ITV. 1 year they screen a movie and they sell the advertising blocks to companies A, B, and C, and next year they screen the movie and they sell it to X, Y, and Z. It's just that it's within the movie.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I don't have a problem with product placement in movies. It happens, when it's bad, it's hilarious, and when it's good, you don't notice it. I think the problem I have with this technology currently is that I don't think the technology is good enough to do it seamlessly, because it's not like whether it's
you're worried it'll look shit.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm going to use Henry Cavill's mustache in Justice League as an example. Like, that was just so bad, and that was a big budget movie. So,
Okay, for the purposes of this conversation, okay, we get that if it looks shit, and nothing can ever undo that. If it looked good, if it looked natural,
I mean, if it looks good and like they're not, you know, it's not being used to fund, like, I don't know, child concentration camps, go nuts.
Yeah. As a general,
you know,
as a station policy, we are anti-child concentration camps.
But it's interesting that both of our all of our discussions about the commercialization aspects of things have kind of come back to, you know, they're rapidly coming back to the, you know, so long as nobody's getting hurt.
The one thing I would say, and this is something I would my biggest personal objection to it is this will essentially always be retrified, so you won't have. People are concerned that they'll go back through, you know, like in the original image, you'll have a PS4 advert appearing on a billboard in Casablanca or something. You will always, once this gets going, you will always have that. You'll lose the historical artifact that was that movie, because advertising and promotion and product placement is a historical artifact. It does say something about the time of the movie. It does give you context for the movie. My biggest concern is that would be lost, there wouldn't be the original authentic version, whatever that is, in mass-produced movies of this nature.
So the concern that people have that they're going to go back into, like, The Great Escape or The Wizard of Oz and change stuff is that people have to sort of remember that contracts with movie stars were very different. Yeah. So they, like, Judy Garland was under contract to MGM or, you know, whatever, and, like, it was very basically agents and the studios would be like, okay, she will do this, but she won't do this, and like, so I think you'll find that a lot of these concerns that people have are actually covered under the exclusivity clause that the, like, MGM might have had with Judy, or, you know. What I'm saying is that they can't, like, you can't just go and you can't, like, the estate of Judy Garland would have to be consulted on, say, putting Judy Garland in a pair of Nikes, because obviously Judy's not here to talk about it for herself.
What I'm saying is, going forwards, this starts happening, as in,
but the thing.
As in, if the next generation's version of Casablanca comes out, but then it will eventually lose its advertising context. And I just got a quick comment. Sorry, you won't know, because it does not change every version of the movie. It changes a specific version. Depends on how the technology is deployed, and it also is how they do it. Because if going back to Misha's earlier comment of people, you know, to make it easier, people drink out of ye green cup and then have an image superimposed on it for advertising space. What is the original version of that? That's kind of my concern.
But also the thing you were saying, like, if, say, next year the next big blockbuster comes out, whatever it may be, and every sort of showing has a different version, there's still gonna be, like, the DVD version is gonna have one version on it, the thing that gets reminded. And also, like, they aren't gonna be, like, next year's big blockbuster will come out, it's not going to have that long a shelf life of changing the adverts in it, because once it leaves theaters and goes onto the DVD market, it's like it's going to get printed on the DVD, and that's it. That's the version that people are going to have in their homes, and they might regionalize it. Like a lot of, like, some of the animated movies, they have changed the voice actors for characters from American voices to English voices, or, you know, whatever, so they're people that you recognize. And I think that changing next year's blockbusters adverts 5 years down the line, it's not going to really do anything because you're not really going to get the viewage of it.
Depends. I mean, the one thing I'd say is with a lot of the way with the way a lot of movies are done on DVD, they're essentially done in batches. From my reading through the technology, if you have this enabled in your if the company has this enabled in their media, they would when they make the next batch of boxes for this movie, they would be able to change all the adverts. So you would buy movie X and it would have advert 1, 2, 3. I would buy movie X and it would have advert 4, 5, and 6 as a theoretical. So again, you do have that changing. You get a more fluid content. Would it be part of the distribution system or part of the delivery system? Would my copies on Blu-ray or be okay, or would my Blu-ray player insert the branding as I watch a copy I own? I don't know. Have you bought a copy of the Blu-ray player that it's making some of its money back by having the advertising feature in it? That's the thing. That's the thing, though, because they cannot change physical media. They can't change physical media, but they can make the physical media different for each batch. That's my point.
Because this is that, and it's coming back to, because the thing I was going to raise is the why piling back to that philosophical point about changing things. I mean, these days, it's the move away from owning things. It's like I'm looking right now at a limited collection of CDs and DVDs, and Blu-rays and various video games. Now, if I look on my phone, I can stream videos from a library. I can download ebooks. I can listen to music, all streamed. But I do not own those. I am renting them, and it's like there have been, I believe, certain instances where copies of ebooks have been forcibly have been deleted and put back with changes made. Sometimes that might be fixing some time. They might be literally patching the ebooks, pushing out a new version with typos fixed, or it might be fundamentally changing the thing. So my thinking about this on the going back on the backwards part, if you see what I mean, of the comment you make, when you said split into going forward and going backwards, there is a philosophical question to be had about the ownership of a particular piece of media and the extent to which things can be changed. You can't, if I have a printed book, you can't change that.
No.
Whereas the ebook could in theory at least be dicked around with at any time, and that is a whole, and that is a question that has been going on in intellectual property circles and tech circles for a while now.
It kind of,
and I don't know what the answer is.
It kind of moves into. I mean, it kind of moves into. There's a bit of a. I agree. There's a bit of a philosophical thing with it. I mean, I used to play Battlefield 2042, and that had dynamic advertising in it. In that there were billboards in the cities you were fighting in, and they changed once a month, and that was it. And that caused a huge kerfuffle. Yeah, and I never quite understood why people had such a big problem with it, because it was just simple. It was when every month there was an update in the server code as part of the just as part of the monthly patch, and they were outright turned around and said, we're doing this to help pay the ongoing costs of having all these things running. And it was just a flat advert that changed once a month.
The thing about this, though, is it any different than banner ads on websites? Because those change pretty much every time you visit the website. And, like, you were saying, Andrew, how, like...
Those were a lot more.
Yes, it was great.
They're saying how, like, you know, to do it, that you're saying maybe they'll have to, like, drink out of particular cups or cans, or, you know, they have to have, like, green screen. And the thing is, like, I don't see this be, like, I don't see major studios all rushing to adopt this. Like, they might think of it... I think somebody will, and it will either work, and then other studios will be like, ooh, or it won't work quite so well, and the internet will rip it to shreds, as they love to do.
Are you talking about it looking crap, or it not look?
I'm talking about it not working, not in the technology. I'm just talking about people are going to be like, well, why is so and so got this, and then they've got that? It just
right.
Yeah. I'm
just trying to
the
establish
anachronistic. Are you worried about the sort of anachronistic stuff, maybe?
Yeah, no, it's not even so much that. It's more the breaking of of someone's immersion. So, because, like, let's be honest, any media you consume, you get immersed in it, and you know, and when things aren't quite right, like going back to old movies when you'd see a guy walking across the background of a medieval scene in jeans and a t-shirt, you just think that's the thing you notice, and it's like, if this sort of works, then great. It's another form of advertising. You know, advertising evolves, because let's be honest, in the days before the internet, you got adverts on the radio and the television and in magazines and newspapers and on the side of buses. But now, like, you go to bus stops and you've got they scroll. You can have scrolling adverts, or they've got a screen and it changes if it hasn't been kicked in by somebody. So I think this might just be the next evolution, but I think, like a lot of the new advertising gimmicks, it's either gonna take off because they can do it right. And the thing is, we have, like, I don't know if there's any images that this company have produced to sort of show their work. They're saying they can do it. BBC did an article on it, but I haven't seen them do it.
I've seen mock-ups, and these are mock-up videos. I've not seen it in the wild, as it were.
Yeah, but the thing is, a mock-up video, they're not being given the media by an outside company. They're making that mock-up themselves. So, like, the
examples I've seen of this stuff, it's effectively dynamic. It's effectively a dynamic deepfake. I have seen very convincing usage of this technology. I have not seen, as I said, I haven't seen it in the wild. I've seen videos of it. And based on those, it looks really good. And deepfake is getting better and better and better. There is nothing to suggest it's going to hit any kind of wall anytime soon. So the ability to do it, that's just coming. It's relatively simple maths.
But as I say, like, also, you know, we don't know how much they're charging for it, or whether, like, it's quite an odd one to sort of comment on, because we don't really have much of the detailing, like how they do it, where they would do it, how much it costs to do, like, because if you think about it, they're not just editing like a scene, they're editing frame by frame by frame, and that's gonna be a cost thing.
Not digital.
Yeah, but even it's still like, to do it right. It's not like to take a Pixar movie.
Yeah,
like 10 seconds of a Pixar movie takes them a couple of months maybe to do, depending on how complicated it is.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be a fast process, I don't think.
Putting a static image in a background isn't going to be.
But it can't be. But it can't be completely static. It has to. The lighting has to be right. The shadows have to be right. Like, it has to look good, and that's not a quick thing to do.
It's not a quick thing, but it is. One moment, please. Stuff like that is getting faster and easier, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper. Essentially, you're talking about mastering an entire movie versus very specifically set out mastering, editing of some sequences within it. Their goal is to make it essentially a push button process.
Yes.
that may be a way, that may be a distance away, but I've seen nothing to suggest that it won't be used as a technique
I mean, if
because
the
they can
guys
get more ad money.
But yeah, but that's the other thing is that
the
it's
guy in
going.
the BBC article have got their version of doing it, then inevitably somebody's going to come along and do it and improve
Better,
on it. They're
quicker,
going
and
to do it
faster.
better, harder, better, faster, stronger.
I'm going to just want to read out two things from the audience. Likelihood of them trying to do overt advertising where it's in the forefront, like people holding stuff. Yeah. But stuff in the walls and buses and tables and stuff like that, that would be what they'd want to do. Yeah. You make it the incidental stuff. As I said earlier, you got four advertising elements in a scene. You make the main focus the permanent thing for a lot of money, and you make everything else dynamic. Other comment that I quite like: set designs do a lot of work on colors and lights and shades. It's possible that they will try to insert an advert that ruins the look of the scene. Coke is blue, Coke is red, Pepsi is blue. Could be jarring. Now I agree on that. I can say as much as I want about how the technology can minimize that and make it look good, but if something just looks wrong, it just looks wrong. And it also, whether a character drinks Pepsi or whether a character drinks Coke, can be a character defining element. So you would essentially start having different narrative. You could have different narratives depending on what comes in there. And final one: if someone who is learning to make stuff in a game engine, I can say that skilled people can change stuff like that in a few hours. A few hours for a couple $100,000.
Yeah, but that's the other thing is like it is a technically untried method, and I think a lot of advertising companies, they're gonna have to. As I say, I don't have a pricing list for how much it's gonna cost. Like, so if I might have a better idea of it, but like, it's all about making money. You're like, yes, okay, you have to spend money to make money, but they're not going to spend any more on their advertising budget than they already have. And they've got the tried and true method of going, hey, put this Coke advert in your movie and we'll give you this much money. And that's like, okay, yeah, or no, we won't do that. But I'm using Coke, but again, I'm thinking of smaller brands. But again, it's not going to be a cheap process. So, you know, because
I think you would be surprised how cheap they'd make this, because it would make them a lot of money. So there's an incentive to make it as cheap as possible.
I know that the cost of having 5 billboards for 2 months and it's sharing the billboards is $5,000. And that's not even in a big city.
Are you talking about the cost of putting it into the movie or the cost?
No, I'm talking about the cost to the product, like
to the advertiser.
To the advertiser, yeah. Like people, or like people, because like anyone can hire a billboard in America and stick stuff up on it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a company. It helps because it's expensive.
Handshot first, but we're not sure if you used a Colt or a Sig. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's like, are people going to go, well, hang on, I know how effective a billboard is and what cost, and like I've got the numbers to break it down, whereas this doesn't really have any numbers to back it up yet. So this is why I think people are going to not be running in to go use this new technology. But, I could be proven wrong. I'm happy to be proven wrong in this case, but I just think it's a bit gimmicky, I think, as a concept. For me, I'm just looking at it and going, okay.
You don't believe in the technology. Fine. Okay, Mishi, and your viewpoints.
Only going back to one of the points that were made there, it's like, well, but if you're going to you're paying all this money to have your product shooped into a thing, or you could, pay a little bit extra to have a set designer point out to you, okay, if you want to do it that way, that you want to put your product there because it's not going to jar. In the same way, if you've got that coding for the Coke Red Pepsi Blue thing, maybe the advertisers, in an advertiser's budget, you could get in the people who will tell you how to not make it jarring.
But your general opinion, so we got.
Your
general opinion on the whole thing. You're just
doesn't really bother me. The my thinking on this is the wider, is more to do with the abstract point about ownership of media.
Okay.
But the initial technology, is if it works, people will use it. If it doesn't, they won't, and that's not particularly any of my business, really.
Yeah. As I said,
is anybody being hurt by it?
My attitude towards technology is I've heard variations on this so many times, and it is the kind of thing that advertisers would bend over backwards to have access to, especially when and one thing that, from my experience working with them and advertising and marketing, is you always kicking yourself for not putting your ad in the thing that got huge. Well, now you can put your ad in the thing that got huge, so they'll go for it. There we go. As someone who is always noticing background things visual, I am indifferent to the idea. Fair enough. I as I said, I can see it having issues of variants of the different texts. You lose the cultural artifact element of it. But that's
so, again, the more philosophical aspect,
the more historical aspect of it. But anyway,
which ties in the philosophical point about the immutability of a thing.
Yeah. So
I mean, I don't think you're going to be getting this technology. Doesn't, at least for now, doesn't look like you're going to wind up in like digital Photoshop ship of the Photoshop of Theseus.
Yeah.
Yet, anyway.
Anyway, so that was the Big Stomp for April here from the Bunkazilla Bunker. I'd like to give massive thanks to Lizzie. Now, what are you up to at the moment? What do you want to plug?
Well, I'm back here Saturday for Let's Play a Game. I'm doing The Sims Medieval from 12 o'clock, and then I'm back here on Sunday from 6 doing more Dragon Age Inquisition, and hopefully Twitch will behave itself. Kept crashing on me last week.
We'll be here for it, because that'd be awesome, and I heard about your tech problems. That was a nightmare. Mish, what do you want to plug?
Well, as ever, I'm not particularly the content creator, but if N64 Live podcast is still in the chat, hammering away, I need you all to go and follow him, because if he gets to 200 followers on Twitch, he has to do a full playthrough of one of the worst videos in existence, Superman 64. This is a legendarily bad video game.
Cool.
And so if you all go and follow N64 Live podcast, yeah.
And then N64 is going to get everyone to
N64 Live
follow
podcast.
us. We need all his followers to follow us as well. So let's get this little loop going. Right. Thanks to our lovely viewers. And also, I would like to give an incredibly big thank you, if he can find the right flaming button. I would like to give an incredibly big shout out to our lovely Patreons. So yeah, this is a super big heart going out to the golden monsters. They are Lyoko is great, and they are Harriet. I know Harriet's in the crowd at the moment. You're awesome. You're lovely. Thank you very much for your money. Frankly, thank you for ongoing this. If you want a dedicated shout out, join us on Patreon. Subscribe to one of the various tiers. Patrons also get to suggest and vote on a topic for the Big Stomp for the guests to discuss. Did you like the fact that we had a viewer proposed comment? Let us viewer proposed thing for us all to take apart with no preconceived notions. Do you like having 3 people on the Big Stomp rather than 4? Do you want a different whatever? Let us know. Give us feedback. We want your feedback. It justifies our existence. But anyway,
we need validation.
Validate us, bitches. Anyway, to be more involved, to be more involved with this wonderful chaos that is the Bunkazilla, head over to Patreon patreon.com/Bunkazilla UK. Sign up for as little as £3. So you can make me dance like an educated monkey, and also so you can help keep the lights on in the station controller's secret lair. You will also get access to various shows and mysterious upcoming secret content. When I said various shows, what I meant was early access, so you can see it before anyone else, and you can go, "Hey, I know where this is cool," and that'll be awesome. Big Stomp will be back on the 26th of May with even more guests who could include you. Like, subscribe, tell all your friends, scream from the rooftops. You've been lovely. Thank you to the Peanut Gallery. Thank to you guys. And yeah, we're out. Peace out. Love you all. Bye.